And good, glorious morning, everybody. It's been a while. Some of you are feeling like I dropped you and I turned around and walked away. No, I didn't. I have gotten busy with some other things. The spiritual development classes are going oh so awesome. We're winding up with our last class on this coming Thursday night. And that has actually been phenomenal for me. And from what I'm getting from um, the participants, it's been really good for them too. So that's been a time investment that is truly giving an amazing ROI. So um, okay, ROI is return on investment. Okay. um, so I wanted to speak to you guys today just because I haven't in a little while, and because I have been busy. I've also been working in an Ayurveda clinic in Mountain View. So Monday through Friday, get that. That's difficult for me, but it's been a good adventure to be participating in actually doing some of the things that I went to school to do. So everything's falling into place. So what I wanted to talk about this morning, I've had some revelation during this spiritual development teaching process, and one of the greatest ones is just recognizing the paradigm shift within myself. Okay, and of course others, but mostly within myself, and it's bringing up some emotions and some things. It's kind of like okay, I'll put it this way. When you begin professing that you are light and love, that light is going to come in there and come right into your heart and show up those little dark spaces. Okay? You're going to find your shadows as well. And so I've had a couple of instances where I've been dealing, I think, with some of my shadows, but at the same time, recognizing that there is also not just my physical stuff, but it all downloads from spirit. Okay, it all downloads from the love that is trying to get into those little spaces that we have kept closed, that we're guarding, that we're afraid of exposing, sometimes even to ourselves. Okay, and the biggest one is dealing with the injured child within. That's been a big one. And a lot of times we think, well, I'm 45 years old, I'm 55 years old, that doesn't have anything to do with me anymore. That's behind me, I've gotten over it. Careful, careful. You'd be amazed. There is still a little one inside of you, quite likely, cowering in the corner, afraid of the dark. Okay? And that is what the spiritual awakening, the awakening consciousness, is bringing us to as individuals, because all spiritual growth is a work in self-awareness, self representation. It's all about you. Okay? It's all about me and how I am perceiving, receiving, or giving to the universe. Okay? Because I can't change you. I can only work on me. And believe me, if I put some concentration into working on me, I got a full-time freaking job. Okay? And I'll discover that there are still parts of me that are injured or whiny or resentful. Okay? That's kind of what came up for me, I think, this weekend when I had to take my spiritual mental health break. I recognized that there's a little bit of resentment, believe it or not. it comes up, and it's not a wave of something that's tremendous, but I think love, okay, I think God calls us into periods of purification in order for us to continue and to prosper and be in health as our soul prospers, okay? We've got to get down in there and do a little grunge work. I read a long, long time ago that when you're refining silver, okay, it's the heat has to be turned up, and that part of the silver that is not pure has to be removed, and it comes up as like a froth on top, and so then that is scraped away. So when you find yourself dealing with emotions or dealing with the winds of change, okay, that put a reflection onto you that say, deal with this right here. And it might seem like a little tiny speck, but that little tiny speck might be enough to keep you from entering that purity of heart, that purity of spirit, that purity of love that can really, really make you that most glorious person, that most ambitious person, that most magnificent reflection of the love of God in the earth. So go forth boldly into the fullness of the light that is within you, okay? And allow love to bring up those reflections of your own shadows and hold them up to the light and give them up in love and say, this is not the purity of my heart. And so I recognize that I've walked in it for a period of time, but it no longer serves me positively. And then I hold it up and I say, God, angels, please, show me what to do with this. Show me how to let it go. And most often, I am guided to turn my palm face down and give it to Mother Earth. Mother Earth knows how to take the crap that comes across in our lives, okay, and decompose it, envelop it, let it rot down to nothing or what we think is nothing. And when it comes forth again, it's quite likely a beautiful flower or a tall, strong tree. Okay? This is the regeneration process of life, folks. When you offer up your thoughts, your heart to love, and allow the light to come in, turn up the heat, purify whatever needs to be purged from your very soul so that you can go forward. Now, I did pull a card this morning, so I want to share that with you. Well, I actually pulled a couple of cards, and the meanings were like, oh my goodness, what in the world? I kind of liked the first one. I kind of didn't like the very first one because, but then when I began to think about it better, then I got it. The first card was the Five of Michael. I'm working with the Archangel Power Tarot by Doreen Virtue today. And so this one has Archangel Michael. And it says, this situation doesn't serve you. Release your attachment to the outcome. Consider taking a most uplifting approach. And I wasn't going to share this card at first because I thought this is not how I want to start a Monday. I don't even see where this applies to me. I got up, I did my gratitude meditation, I did my gratitude movement yoga, and I got my gratitude tea. mm. So for a moment there, I thought it did not apply. But on so many levels, it applies to so many of us. Because when you find yourself trying to work through things like the injured child syndrome or PTSD or resentment issues, anger issues, jealousy issues, a lot of things. Okay, folks, we are in a spiritual paradigm shift, and God, i.e., love, wants us to recognize our shadows. So when I look at this card, now it can either look like a sunrise or a sunset in the distance. Okay, I'm going to hold it really, really close so maybe you can get a better glimpse of it. Okay. Now I look at it as a sunrise because with the dawning of each new day, there's something that we're going to deal with in order to maintain a balance just for that day, a balance in our spirit, in our mind, and in our bodies. Okay, so whatever it is to you, you'll know. Okay, this situation does not serve you. What situation is that for you? I recognized what situation it is for me. And it says release your attachment to the outcome. Sometimes we're doing something in an attitude of, well, if I do this, maybe I'll get that. Okay, and this card is saying, forget about the outcome. Forget about what you thought you wanted out of this deal. Okay, and consider taking a more uplifting approach. Well, now, the first thing I had done this morning, after I recognized kind of what I've been dealing with, was to go into gratitude. Okay? Because that's my most uplifting approach, is to be grateful for all the things that I see when I look around me, all the love that I feel that surrounds me, to realign my focus, okay, to get a more positive vision for what I'm doing. And that is the only way that we can face the 5 of Michael, the number 5. And I've got a friend who I love dearly, and she goes, 5, that's change. And indeed it is. But then she'll always turn around and tell me, but it can be positive change. It's always going to be positive change. Now, when I tell you guys we're all these beautiful flowers in the universe of life, and we have our unique fragrances and our unique colors and everything, and then I turn around and I say, but it's the crap that makes us grow. Okay, so let's kind of go back to the crap for just a minute. Okay, when we release that situation, that stuff, that crap, Mother Earth knows what to do with it. Okay? Now, don't hold on to it for so long that it becomes so stagnant, so stinky, so impure that Mother Nature has to take a drastic measure to get you to let go of it. Now, in nature, we might recognize that as a hurricane or an earthquake or some other thing. I don't know. I'm going to tell my age here, but there was a commercial long, long time ago that it was like, I think it was Parquet and butter. And this lady tasted it and said butter, and the commercial said Parquet, and she held up her thing and made lightning go, and she said, it's not nice to fool Mother Nature. Take that with a grain of salt. Find the humor in it, but recognize, okay? We got a lot of stuff going on. We got people trying to put pipelines and stuff in places that it shouldn't be. It's really, we're in a place, and God is calling us. God is calling us. God is calling us, especially those of us who are light workers, who are love workers, okay? workers in light and love, trying to come through this darkness. Uh, we're in for, I think, some spiritual warfare. Be ready. But we've got to make the paradigm shifts individually and then send that love out as a collective consciousness. I like to call it the collective consciousness of Christ. Okay? The collective consciousness of Christ. And Christ means the anointed one. All right? Or the anointing. Okay? So what are you anointing, or what are you anointed with? Okay? What you're going to put in is what you're going to spit out every time. Okay. Well, then I got a chance to move on to something else, and this one was pretty amazing because what we're doing in the earth did come up. The 9 of Gabriel. Okay, and the message here was stay determined and move forward. Be prepared for any possibility. Get involved in environmental activism. So we can all do that, and we should all be doing that. If you can't get out to the places to make a statement, find a petition to sign, send financial support, and definitely always praying in the Spirit, okay, for our planet, for our earth, for our people, okay. Then I thought, what in the world? But I also remembered the Bible said, call those things that be not as though they are. So when this card came up, I thought, I'm not seeing that in the fullness, but I'm just going to agree with it. It's the, oh, I don't know where that card came from. It's not it. It's the 10 of Ariel. I don't know if I'm supposed to share that one. The 10 of Ariel. And it said, there is so very much to be grateful for. Okay, I get that. I'm good with that. Financial success and the promise of retirement. A rich and rewarding family life. Okay? Well, I didn't resonate with that card very well on the first reading of it, because I thought, I am so not there yet. But you know, the way we measure things and the way Spirit measures things as abundance and financial success and all these kinds of things, it can be on a different plane for a moment there. Okay, so I'm calling this one, okay, that thing that is coming to pass. Matter of fact, I'd like that one to come stay for a while. But anyway, I'll read it again. The 10 of Ariel. There is so very much to be grateful for. Yes. Financial success. Yes. And the promise of retirement. Yes. A rich and rewarding family life. Yes. I'll take it. Yay. Ding, ding, ding. We're a winner. Okay. But I think we need to reflect upon the fact that it comes upon the heels of change. When we're changing our minds. I think it was Wayne Dyer that I heard say, when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. Okay? Put that in the pipe and smoke it today. All right. Last card. 6. The Lovers. Archangel Raphael. Raphael is all about healing. Healing the relationships, healing the love life, healing the career life, healing everything. Okay? This card says, make choices from your heart. Deeply emotional commitments. Wow. The power of love. This card, well, they put a nice, very romantic picture on there, kind of like something out of a movie or something. But what I want you to reflect upon is the Archangel Raphael standing upon a hill with arms outstretched, sending forth the healing power of love. And I think that this not only applies to, well, we're February, we're going into Valentine's Day, but some of us don't have a significant person to shower with Valentine's. And some of us have a significant person who has no concept of what to do with that. Been there, done that. And so they'll come in with a box of chocolates, and you've been working your buns off trying to lose some weight, and you're thinking, oh, seriously, did you? Or they want to take you out to big steak dinner, and you stand in line for an hour to get fed some stuff that gives you heartburn later or something crazy, okay? The point that I'm making here is when we make decisions from our heart, okay, and when we enter that committed relationship of love, that is also an open door for communication, whether we do it subtly or whether we open our mouths and say, honey, I don't want to go to Outback this year. I'm not standing in line. Okay, let's have a quiet picnic in front of the fireplace in the living room. Okay? Let's go for a walk. Okay? Many, many other things that you can do, but you need to be in tune with another person. You need to be in that relationship. Okay? Now, let's apply that to career. Because sometimes you get asked to go that extra mile and you really don't want to. You don't want to stay late on Valentine's Day. Okay? Now, whether you communicate subtly or in confidence, saying, I'm sorry, I can't stay today. I've got plans for the evening. Okay? Because the world's not going to end, and that's just one little day. But when you have to set some boundaries, when you have to lower the stress level, when your pile is like this high and you have to look around to see who's wanting more from you, all right? It's probably time to set some healthy boundaries, okay? Seriously, folks, you cannot love me if you don't love you. And if you're not totally loving you, then you're going to resent me when I come asking you for something that you're just at the bottom of the bucket don't have anymore. And then you're going to be upset because you can't give me what you don't have. And of course, that's your work. All right? That's kind of where I come through this weekend. Recognizing when I am not operating in the energy of love, I am drained. I am tired. I am anxious. I am frustrated. I am resentful because I can't give you what I don't have anymore. And I look at my bucket and I'm like, it's kind of like being in the checkout counter of the store and you're trying to buy something that costs $1.15 and you don't have the 15 cents part. Okay, what are you going to do? Put it back, ask the person next to you, say, okay, I'll just come back later, you know. But God is kind, and sometimes the checkout counter girl is too, and she'll reach into her pocket and she'll say, I've got it, you can go. All right? When you make the decisions from your heart, from that heart of love, and you might have to walk away from something for a moment. You might have to take a mental health day and sit down before God. I went to the beach and I sat on a log that was a little bit damp, but I sat on a log and I meditated and I looked out into the vastness of the ocean and where the sky meets the horizon. And I closed my eyes and I meditated for a while and I asked God to reveal to me, what am I dealing with? What's going on with me? And then when I opened my eyes, there was a reflection of the sun. And I don't know if you've ever noticed, but right where the sky meets the water, when the certain reflection of the sun comes across, there's this tiny, tiny thread of just shimmering silver, like a silver beam that's going right in between the water, and the sky. Okay, that's significant for me, because for me, that's God shedding light on the matter. And then that light comes right across the water, to shine fully in my heart and reveal to me what is that darkness, what is that space, what is that shadow that I am dealing with. And that's where I got my answers. Okay, and then just a few minutes later, when I fully opened my eyes and came out of meditation, the sun peeked out just for about an hour. I thought that was especially for me. I can think those kinds of thoughts. Anyway, it was absolutely a most glorious experience. All right. And so I returned refreshed. And not only that, when I returned, lots of things that I thought I would face or thought I needed to do had already been done by all the love that surrounds me. And so it was easy to wake up this morning refreshed and grateful, to get back into my attitude of gratitude. Okay? Now, I know I've taken quite some time. I hope this blesses you in many, many ways. So I think I'm going to close it up. That's enough for today. Refer to this from time to time. Let it be uplifting to you. God loves you, and remember, I love you all.